So let me guess what happened. You set a New Year's resolution to get your finances in order. You bought that fancy budgeting app, the one with the amazing reviews? You spent 3 hours on a Saturday morning linking all your accounts, categorizing 6 months of transactions, color-coding your spending categories. You even made custom tags. And for the first 2 weeks, you were on fire. You checked it every single day. You adjusted your budget. You felt like a financial genius. Then life happened. You forgot to log a coffee purchase. Then another. The app started yelling at you about uncategorized transactions. Logging in started feeling like homework. And now, you haven't opened it in 4 months. But you're still paying $12.99 a month for the premium version. If that's you, don't worry, you're not broken. You're just human. And today, I'm going to show you why trying so hard is actually your biggest financial mistake. My name is Joe, and I spend way too much time thinking about why effort and results don't match up when it comes to money. If you're someone who knows exactly what you should be doing financially but somehow never sticks with it for more than a few weeks, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because what I'm about to tell you isn't just going to save you time, it's going to make you significantly wealthier. And the best part? It requires you to do less, not more. Here's the thing, the entire personal finance industry has been lying to you. They've convinced you that the reason you're not wealthy is because you lack discipline. You're not tracking hard enough. You're not budgeting hard enough. You're not saying no to yourself hard enough. If you just had more willpower, you'd be rich by now. Except there's one massive problem with this advice. It's scientifically wrong. Let me show you some data that completely changes the game. There was a groundbreaking study done by researchers at Duke University in 2006. And they found that approximately 40% of the actions we take each day aren't actually decisions, they're habits. Think about that. Almost half of what you do every single day happens on autopilot. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Another study published in the Journal of Consumer Psychology tracked over 15,000 people's financial behaviors for 10 years. They divided people into 2 groups. Active managers who made deliberate financial decisions regularly, and passive automators who set up systems once and barely touched them. The result? The passive group accumulated 34% more wealth over the decade. 34%, same income brackets, same time period. But one group did less work and got better results. And before you think, well, maybe the passive group just made more money, the researchers controlled for income. This wasn't about earnings. This was purely about behavior. Look, here's what most people don't realize. Every financial decision you make throughout the day costs you something called decision energy. It's a real psychological concept. Every time you have to actively choose whether to buy the latte, transfer money to savings, or stick to your budget, you're depleting a finite mental resource. And here's the kicker, by the end of the day, when you're faced with the big decisions like whether to contribute to your retirement account or whether to start that emergency fund, you're running on empty. So you make the easy choice, which is almost always the wrong choice. There's this famous study, maybe you've heard of it, where researchers studied judges making parole decisions. They found that judges were significantly more likely to grant parole early in the day, right after breaks, and right after lunch. But right before breaks, denials went up dramatically. Why? Decision fatigue. These are trained legal professionals making life-altering decisions, and their judgment was being influenced by how tired their brains were. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Joe, but I'm not a judge. How does this relate to my money? Great question. Because if trained judges can't maintain consistent decision-making throughout the day, what chance do you have with your daily spending choices? The answer, not much, and that's exactly why the try harder, be more disciplined approach fails for 90% of people. Alright, so if willpower doesn't work, what does? Automation. But not the way most people think about it. Let me tell you a story about 2 people I know, we'll call them Rachel and Tom. Rachel is incredibly disciplined. Every Sunday, she reviews her budget. Every transaction gets categorized. She manually transfers money to her various savings accounts based on what she thinks she can afford that month. She's got spreadsheets. She's got charts. She tracks her net worth monthly. Tom is, frankly, kind of lazy about money. He set up automatic transfers 5 years ago, 10% to retirement, 5% to emergency savings, 3% to a vacation fund. He hasn't looked at his budget in 6 months. He couldn't tell you his exact net worth if you asked him. Fast forward 5 years. Rachel has saved about $47,000. She's proud of this number because she knows exactly where every dollar came from. Tom has saved $89,000. And he honestly can't tell you how it happened. Let me show you the math behind this, because it's absolutely wild. Rachel makes $85,000 a year. On average, after reviewing her budget, she saves about $650 per month. But, and this is the important part, she doesn't save consistently. Some months she saves $900. Some months she saves $400. A couple of months, she dipped into savings for emergencies that weren't really emergencies. Over 5 years, with a 7% average return, she ends up with about $47,000. Tom also makes $85,000 a year. His automatic transfers total 18% of his income, which is $1,275 per month. He never touches it, never even thinks about it. Over 5 years, with the same 7% return, he's at $89,000. That's a $42,000 difference from literally doing less work. But here's where it gets really interesting. A study from Vanguard analyzed over 2 million retirement accounts and found something shocking. People who automated their contributions saved an average of 12% of their income. People who manually contributed? Just 7%. And it's not because the manual contributors couldn't afford more. When researchers interviewed them, most said they'd planned to increase contributions but never got around to it. They were too busy making other financial decisions to make the most important one. This is the paradox of financial success. The more decisions you eliminate, the better your outcomes. Think about it like this: if I told you that you could either spend an hour every week actively managing your money, or spend an hour once setting up automation and never think about it again, which approach do you think would make you wealthier? The data overwhelmingly says the second one. Now let's talk about why this works from a brain science perspective, because once you understand this, you'll never go back to the hustle and grind approach to money. There's a concept in behavioral economics called present bias. Your brain is hardwired to value immediate rewards way more than future rewards. This isn't a character flaw, this is evolution. For thousands of years, humans who prioritized immediate survival over long-term planning were the ones who lived long enough to reproduce. If you found food, you ate it today. You didn't save it for next month. But in the modern world, this wiring is destroying your financial future. When you have to actively decide to save money, you're fighting millions of years of biological programming. Your brain is screaming, keep this money, use it now, buy the thing, order the food, treat yourself. But when the money is automatically deducted before you even see it, there's no fight, there's no decision. The money is just gone, and your brain adjusts to living on what's left. This is called mental accounting, and it's one of the most powerful psychological tools you can use. Here's a perfect example. In a study from MIT, researchers looked at how people spent their paychecks based on how they received them. People who got physical checks that they had to deposit spent about 18% more on discretionary purchases compared to people with direct deposit. 18%, same money, same people. But the act of physically handling the money made their brains register it as theirs to spend. The people with direct deposit? That money hit their account, got automatically allocated to various buckets, and they never psychologically possessed it. So they never missed it. Look, here's what most people don't realize. The goal isn't to become some kind of financial monk who never spends money. The goal is to make the right financial moves happen without requiring constant heroic effort. There's another study I want to share that absolutely blew my mind. Fidelity Investments tracked people who set up automatic annual increases to their 401k contributions, literally just a 1% increase every year on autopilot. After 10 years, these people had retirement accounts that were 4.2 times larger than people who manually adjusted their contributions, 4.2 times, same time period. Similar incomes. But one group decided to be lazy about it, and they crushed everyone else. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this sounds great in theory, but I genuinely don't make enough money to automate savings. I need every dollar in my checking account. I hear this objection constantly, and I'm going to be brutally honest with you, this is your brain lying to you. Here's why: your expenses automatically expand to consume whatever money is available. This is called Parkinson's law of money. If you have $4,000 in your checking account, you'll somehow spend $4,000. If you have $3,500, you'll somehow make it work with $3,500. The difference is, with automation, that extra $500 is already in savings before your brain has a chance to spend it. Alright, so let's get practical. I'm going to give you the exact framework that works. I call it the Lazy Money Blueprint, and it has 5 steps. Step 1. Calculate your true baseline. Pull up your last 3 months of bank statements. Not what you think you spent, what you actually spent. Add it up, divide by 3, and that's your real monthly spending. Now add 15% to that number as a buffer. This is your spending allowance. Everything above this amount gets automated away the day you get paid. Step 2. Open 3 separate accounts. Account 1, your bills account. This is for rent, car payments, insurance, subscriptions, anything that's the same amount every month. Account 2, your spending account. This is for groceries, gas, going out, shopping, the variable stuff. Account 3, your never touch this account. This is for savings, investments, and emergency funds. Here's the key: these accounts need to be at different banks. Seriously. If your spending money and your savings are at the same bank, you'll transfer money between them just this once. And then it becomes a habit. Make it inconvenient to raid your savings. That's the whole point. Step 3. Automate everything on payday. The day your paycheck hits, you want the following to happen automatically. Bills account gets exactly what it needs for the month. Savings account gets your predetermined savings percentage. Start with 15% if you can. But even 5% is fine. Everything else goes to your spending account. You don't move money manually. You don't see how much is left. You set it up once, and it happens without you. Step 4. Set up annual escalation. This is the secret weapon that most people miss. Every January 1st, increase your automatic savings rate by 1%. That's it. Just 1%. If you're currently saving 10% of your income, make it 11% next year. Then 12% the year after. Let me show you what this does over time. Let's say you're 30 years old, making $70,000 a year with 2.5% annual raises. You start by automatically saving 8% of your income. If you never increase that percentage, you'll retire at 65 with about $620,000. But if you increase it by 1% every year until you hit 20%, then maintain that 20% for the rest of your career, you'll retire with about $1.4 million. That's more than double. From one tiny adjustment per year that you can literally set a calendar reminder for. Step 5. Make spending harder. Delete your credit card information from Amazon, Target, DoorDash, every website where you impulse shop. Put your credit cards in a drawer instead of your wallet. Use a debit card connected to your spending account for daily purchases. Why does this work? Friction. There's a study from Cornell that found that when people had to walk an extra 100 feet to get snacks from a vending machine, they consumed 25% fewer snacks. 100 feet. That's like a 20-second walk. But it was enough friction to change behavior. Same principle applies to spending. If you have to get up, walk to your bedroom, dig your credit card out of a drawer, and manually enter the numbers, you're probably not going to buy that thing you saw on Instagram at 11 p.m., and that's perfect. Now let me tell you something that the financial industry absolutely does not want you to know. Being lazy with your money isn't just effective, it's actually the optimal strategy. The entire financial services industry is built on the assumption that you need constant attention, active management, and expert guidance. They want you to believe you need to watch the market, rebalance your portfolio, chase returns, optimize tax strategies, and constantly make decisions, because complexity sells. The more complicated they make it, the more you need their help. The more you need their apps, their advisors, their premium services. But here's the data they don't advertise. A 2023 study by Morningstar analyzed returns over a 20-year period. The average investor who actively managed their portfolio earned 4.8% annually. The S&P 500 index, which requires zero management, returned 9.1% annually. Active investors earned literally half of what they could have earned by doing absolutely nothing. Let that sink in. People who worked hard at investing, who spent hours researching stocks, who timed the market, who rebalanced regularly, they would have doubled their money by being lazy. And it's not just investing. This principle applies to every area of personal finance. A study from the University of Pennsylvania found that people who checked their bank accounts multiple times per day were 30% more likely to make poor financial decisions compared to people who checked once a week. Why? Decision fatigue, anxiety, overthinking. The more you engage with your finances, the more opportunities you have to screw it up. Now look, I'm not saying you should never think about money. I'm not saying you should be completely financially illiterate. What I'm saying is this: make the important decisions once, automate them, and then get out of your own way. This is where it gets really interesting. There's a concept in investing called time and the market beats timing the market. Basically, people who invested consistently over decades crushed people who tried to buy low and sell high. But this principle goes way beyond investing. It applies to saving, budgeting, debt repayment, everything. Consistency beats intensity. Every single time. So here's what I want you to do. Not tomorrow, not next week, today, right now. Before you even finish this video, I want you to open your banking app and set up one automatic transfer. Just one. If you don't have a retirement account yet, set up a $50 automatic monthly transfer to a high-yield savings account. That's it. That's the entire assignment. If you already have a retirement account, increase your contribution by 1% right now. 1%. You won't even notice it missing from your paycheck. I promise you, this one action will not impact your daily life at all. But in 10 years? In 20 years? You're going to look back at this moment as the turning point. Because here's the thing about being lazy with your finances: you're not actually being lazy. You're being strategic. You're being smart. you're acknowledging that you're a human being with limited willpower, limited time, and limited mental energy. And you're building a system that works despite those limitations. Actually, no, because of those limitations, the people who retire wealthy aren't the ones who heroically resisted temptation every single day for 40 years. They're not the ones who tracked every penny and agonized over every financial decision. They're the ones who made a few good decisions early on, automated them, and then got on with their lives. That can be you. That should be you. Look, personal finance doesn't have to be this complicated, stressful, time-consuming thing that hangs over your head. We make it complicated because we think complexity equals effectiveness. But the data shows the opposite. Simplicity wins. Automation wins. Laziness wins, so stop trying to be a financial hero. Stop beating yourself up for not checking your budget every day. Stop feeling guilty for not constantly optimizing every dollar. Just automate your money, forget about it, and go live your life. Because I'm going to tell you a secret that might blow your mind. The less time you spend thinking about money, the more of it you'll have. If this video helped you, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below telling me what you're automating first. I genuinely read every single comment, and I want to know your plan. My name is Joe. Thank you for watching, and remember, the lazy way isn't the easy way out. It's the smart way forward. Now stop watching YouTube, set up that automatic transfer, and go enjoy your day.